God bless everybody. Today it is June 14th of 2024, and this could be a fairly large week coming up. There's a lot going on out here. There's some holidays on both sides of this equation, on the Jewish side as well as the Muslim side, that we're going to be working into as we walk, especially into this weekend and Monday. And so let's point out some of this, and then this article is extremely important to Daniel 8, as well as we're getting ready to watch Turkey come down into Syria and get ready to go help the Palestinian people. And I've talked about how this could happen by June of this month, and I believe he'll be down around Lebanon at around the end of July. So I've been talking about this for some time. So I'm going to bring up a number of things that we should be looking at in the next few days, week, as we move forward. But this article came out just today, I believe. Yep, just today. And I thought this was extremely important because this is an area that I've been alluding to for some time, that Erdogan would have to secure against the Kurds before he actually does an invasion in Syria and then go down into Lebanon. So this is extremely important. So in this article from this organization, I don't know anything about them. I find articles all over the place. In fear of military escalation, Turkish forces establish line of defense in most front lines in Putin-Erdogan area. Now this area is in Idlib province, okay? And so this is extremely important to the location of where they're setting up these defenses, because Erdogan's going to do an invasion into Syria around this tip that I've been talking about on the Turkish side. And he's going to secure so that no one messes with these forces as they're getting ready to come down. I'll show you the map in a second. So we're watching this new line of defense form in this area that I've been concerned about, and it is an area where he's had to work with Putin on some levels, but Putin's not a major threat because he's got his own issues up north. And so this is just something that Erdogan's going to do anyway. I would expect that possibly even Russia could get pushed out of this one before we're done, and that they've basically raised all these earthen berms and dug trenches to protect their main roads and supply lines to separate the areas in fear of military escalation or potential battles. And so Turkey's dug in at this point in this area. So this area that they're fortifying is actually in Syria, and you'll notice that it's in this extremely important area that I've been talking about. And we'll go to this map so that you can actually see this up closer. So he's protecting this area here, okay? And the reason he's doing that is because he's going to come down through here, down into Lebanon, or swing around this area into Lebanon into Tyre. He'll probably go straight down. I don't know why he wouldn't, except he may not want to go through all these citied areas. And so I don't think Syria's got a lot of options here, but he does have to worry about the Syrian army in this too. So he's going to come down, he's going to go into Lebanon, he's going to end up in Tyre, Lebanon. That's the main thing you need to understand. From there, he'll end up in Gaza, Palestine. But let's go to another map. I want to show you how this lines up. And this other map is through the Atlantic Council, and I'm just trying to show you that there's a breakup of the area. They do a little history out here, but look at these areas, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. So Turkish armies are controlling this whole northern border area. The Kurds are just in this area, and the Turkish have sort of split them, and so the Kurds are mainly east of this, or east of Apello. This is a problem for these Kurds here, and that's that little battle I keep talking about where these Kurds might get shoved this way and have to join this group towards Erbil Iraq, which we see a battle later as Turkey will get ready to go against Kurds in Iran by the end of this year. But look at this. This is that area that they're talking about. And so all these areas here, he's pretty much got a defensive force, and they're getting dug in here. Why? Because he doesn't want anybody to come in here, and he already controls this area up in here. He's going to bring his forces down in through here towards Lebanon. Now, I also had talked about how they were the Kurds or the Medes in the Bible. They're the same thing. But go back in history and look at who the Kurds or the Medes are. They're the same group of people. But if you look at the election cycle that they were going to run on June 10th and 11th, they've stopped them from doing that. And now Turkey's getting dug in and getting ready to go down. He told them he's going to do that. He's going to stop the Kurds from having their elections, and he's going to go down and help Palestine. He's been talking about this for some time because Rafah's going on down there, and it's extremely hostile, and he wants to protect the Palestinian people down there. So he's getting ready to go down there. But due to this, Turkey and U.S. has pressured the Kurds not to create a state. That's the whole purpose. Is Turkey doesn't want them to create a state and unify against Turkey, or just unify in general so they're a stronger force against Turkey. Turkey's been genociding them, and they don't want them to unify. And so it's extremely important you understand some of the background noise of what's going on. But we've now seen this election stop, and that's extremely important. But there's a lot going on in the biblical sense on both sides of the Muslim and the Jews. And so let's go look at this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this weekend we have what they call Pentecost. Now, there's some people that count it different, but if you go to Leviticus 23, it tells you that you must start on the Sabbath, start counting the Omar, the 50 days after the first Sabbath, after Passover. And so you have to know how to count it, and these guys seem to understand the count system properly, and so I'm guessing they use Leviticus 23, as it indicates here, to show you the timeline of Passover, as well as the counting of the Omar to Pentecost or Feast of Weeks. Okay, and that's extremely important because there's another holiday of the Muslims that's happening on the 17th. So we need to look at all these things. Another thing I want to point out here is that, look, there's only one set of high feasts or appointed festivals in the Bible, which is in Leviticus 23, and it talks about the festivals of the Lord or God himself. Okay, now these are not man-made festivals, these are God's festivals. These are the festivals that we should be following. Okay, and yes, it is Torah, which is what God is all about, is the Torah, which is the law, which is a Jewish God giving you his laws in the first 5 books of the Bible in the Old Testament, which is called Torah, and that was given to you through Moses. Okay, but look at this. You had Passover, you had unleavened bread, and I want to explain something. Unleavened bread, first fruits, and Pentecost are all part of the spring feasts. Then when you get into the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles, those are the fall feasts. This is all indicated in Leviticus 23. And so these are the main feasts that you should be concerned about. And I'm pointing out to you that you have a major event of Pentecost on June 15th and 16th, because it would happen on the Sabbath, and then it's the day after. He explains this to you in Leviticus 23. So it's extremely important that you go out and look how the Jews deal with their holidays, because you will be under their system of rule here someday. And like it says, Jesus rules with a rod of iron. It will be extremely important that we always deal with these appointed dates, because when you go in here, it talks about these are appointed dates forever. They never go away. These are things that they have to do to keep basically God holy and pure, so that he can rule the nations with goodness and not become corrupt and rule through corruption, as we're watching our governments, all of them all over the world, falling into corruption and destruction at this very moment in time. So this is extremely important that this is this weekend. You've got Turkey getting ready to get into this game through an invasion, and you also have them digging in their defensive forces. And when you go to the other side of the equation, you have, and I probably would butcher this if I said it, but they have this holiday event. This starts on June 14th and runs to June 16th. In our calendar, if you look at my calendar, it actually is on the 17th, but realize that they're 8 hours ahead of us. And the Jews work off of a sun and a moon calendar, and so there's two different calendars, and so usually you think the next day starts at the eve of that evening before the next day. The Muslims have a tendency to use just the moon, and so I'm not sure exactly how that equates to exactly when that starts. It says here based on a moon sighting. They will start on June 14th, so it's a new moon event similar to the Jews. So that's sort of interesting, and that would run for 2 days basically. And so you have this corresponding event that seems to be overlaying over the Jewish calendar and all these other things that are happening. And I keep talking about how Erdogan is not going to not go in and deal with this problem down in Palestine, because no one is getting anything done. The ceasefire is totally broken down, and he's not going to sit on this much longer. So I just want to keep you updated. This is going to affect us soon, guys. I just want you to be aware that this is a history lesson going to play out. I've been explaining to you this for a while. Go back and look at Alexander the Great, his movements in history. This is going to play out almost exactly the same. Turkey's getting ready to come into this. They're going to be in Lebanon sometime around July. I can't give you exact dates, but around the months that this is going to happen. And you're going to watch this play out, and then before the end of the month, or before the end of the year, all this is going to start breaking down to a point you could potentially see Iran fall as a nation with the Kurds by the end of the year. So get your oil in your lamp, get right with the Lord Jesus, get right with God, and celebrate Pentecost this weekend, and realize that God is in control. He's always in control. It never changes. He never changes. His word is concrete. You can bet on it. I'm telling you, you can bet on it, because I've been watching it forever, and I can give you this kind of information because, look, I want to explain something before I stop here. I didn't come up with the paradigm in the Bible. The paradigm is built into the Bible, okay? I just saw it, and I uncovered it somehow through, with his help. I don't know how to explain it. So the paradigm's there. I've shown you how it works. I'm showing you these dates for a reason, because I know they're going to play out for a reason, because it's built into the Bible for a reason, to give you a roadmap to the end of this. So you may not want to believe that we have this much information, but we do. He's given you everything you need to know, and he's given you a manual to the end of the story. You need to start following the manual. But I can give you the outline of the manual. You can go into all these chapters. You can see what's going to happen. It's really not that hard to understand. But Alexander the Great and his timeline and the way he went down through the Middle East, through Iran, and everything is all going to play out as we move forward here. But Erdogan's first movement is to get down to Syria and to Palestine so he can help the Palestinians before he goes to Iran. So God bless and have a great night.